Airplanes. They are an aerodynamic marvel of engineering. Hundreds of thousands of hours go into designing and building one. Now imagine if you had to start from scratch every time you wanted to fly. That's what independent studios have to do. We believe there is a clear opportunity to tell unique stories from voices that are not currently being heard at scale. These stories already exist. The creators already exist. The audiences already exist. What remains constrained is access to capital that matches the ambition and reach of those audiences. Independent creators are developing meaningful work under fragmented and uncertain financing conditions. The current financing model for film and television is broken. If you're trying to make content, I'm sure that's not news to you. The question is, what do we do about it? We don't suffer from a failure of imagination. It is a limitation of infrastructure. You've probably seen articles and posts about appealing to high net worth individuals, grants, or brands. I believe the way forward lies with institutional capital. In case you're unfamiliar, what do we mean by institutional capital? These are large pools of money that are professionally managed. Examples would be pension funds, mutual funds, hedge funds, sovereign wealth funds, insurance companies, and private equity, to name a few. The vast majority of institutional capital goes to public equities and debt, stocks and bonds traded on a public exchange. But an increasing share of this money is going to private markets. This is equity or debt that is not traded on a public exchange. Global private markets assets are projected to grow to nearly $30 trillion by 2033. This is the market we want to tap into. Institutional investors care about transparency, governance, repeatable processes, and scale. Independent film and television, as commonly structured, are not consistently meeting those requirements. The Quentasia Studios Operating System is being built to address this gap by strengthening the infrastructure beneath independent production. The framework is being designed to standardize how projects are governed, financed, and evaluated. As the system is being developed, it is also addressing ownership retention and workforce development. These challenges are being approached as a single structural problem. There currently isn't an investment vehicle in private markets that has the characteristics that we need. The Quentasia Studios Operating System, or QSOS, is laying the groundwork for a new asset class that we defined as structured cultural assets. The focus of this program will be the QSOS framework. QSOS is being built as an integrated operating framework rather than a single tool or platform. Okay, that sounds nice, but what does that mean? Let's start with our methodology. We want to be able to compare and analyze our entertainment projects the same way you would any other investment. To do that, you need data. If you're not capturing the right data, you won't be able to do your analysis. Furthermore, you have to have the tools and know how to use those tools to capture the right data. Finally, we want to compare the performance of entertainment projects over time. These comparisons have to be based on a common set of criteria. Every production must meet this criteria in order to look at them side by side. Everything we do in the QSOS methodology is in service of making projects comparable. We're not a technology company, we're a creative film and television studio. We'll use enterprise-grade applications like Salesforce and NetSuite to build the custom applications that will enable us to enforce the governance methodology of QSOS. We're combining governance, standards, financial controls, and production methodology into a unified system. Stewardship of capital is being emphasized throughout the framework. Separation of duties is being enforced to establish accountability. Access controls are being implemented to define authorization and visibility. Vendor vetting processes are being standardized across projects. Purchasing activity is being tracked in real time. Capital is being released through milestone-based performance gating. Reporting is being structured as a continuous process rather than episodic disclosure. Investors are being granted direct system visibility appropriate to their role. Production artifacts are being centralized and version controlled. Scripts, budgets, schedules, and contracts are moving through formal review and sign-off paths. Contingencies are being modeled explicitly rather than assumed. Risk is being evaluated per dollar deployed using historical benchmarks. Enterprise systems are being configured to support multi-entity reporting. Training and certification requirements are being defined to ensure consistency. QSOS is our attempt to transform independent production into an auditable operating environment. To ensure that we have the right data available to do our analyses, every production, whether internal or external, will be required to use our system. There will be some tools that we will be agnostic about, such as production management software. At this point, we won't care if you use Movie Magic, Studio Binder, Yamdu, or Greenlit, but the official version of certain project artifacts, such as the day out of days schedule, will be kept in a central repository and be the version that everyone is working off of. Financial reporting will be done in several ways. Our ledgers will be kept in both US GAAP and IFRS. We're raising capital globally. We need to report financial results using those two methodologies, because how you account for revenue and expenses for entertainment projects vary dramatically between US GAAP and IFRS. Production accountants must be familiar with how to translate between the two using our standard methodology. This is one of the chief reasons we will require certification in our process. Financial reporting will be done at 4 levels. First, at the individual project level. Next, at the slate level. We want to know how a package of projects perform. Next, at the investor level. We want each investor to see how their piece of the pie is performing. Finally, at the studio level. We of course want to understand how much revenue is being generated for the studio. Requiring all productions to use the same chart of accounts will ensure we can report on all projects in the same manner. By making sure we're capturing the right data, this gives us the ability to do lookbacks. In simple English, we create a risk model when we construct our slates. We can then go back and see how the slate actually performed and refine our models going forward. This is the kind of sophistication that institutional investors currently receive with other types of investment. Systems only function when people are trained to operate them effectively. Historically, workforce development in entertainment has relied on informal pathways. QSOS is being used to introduce structured workforce development tied to live production. Participants are being trained inside governed production environments. Their work is being documented and evaluated against defined standards. Certification pathways are being designed to create portable, credible credentials. A pilot initiative is being launched in Brownsville, Brooklyn. A feature film and a documentary are being developed to anchor the training program. Learning is being embedded directly into active production activity. The objective is to create durable career pathways rather than temporary access. Historically, certification can be a barrier to advancement. In our model, there is no cost for a certification. Depending upon how you track completion, whether it's the end of principal photography or the end of post-production, up to 85% of independent films do not finish. We believe by having crews certified in our methodology, we can dramatically affect project performance for the better. With QSOS, we will track every project and over time, demonstrate that we have better outcomes than productions not using our methodology. For any project financed by us, we will require certification for production accountants, line producers, more broadly, production management, and if it's a TV project, showrunners. Institutional investors deploy capital at scale. The economics of smaller projects are insufficient. We will not achieve scale from isolated project successes. It is being built through aggregation and standardization. Each project is contributing data to a growing institutional record. Outcomes are being normalized and evaluated collectively. This aggregation is increasing predictability over time. So how big is big? What are we talking here? For feature films, an average production budget of $50 million and a marketing budget of 50% of production. For television, up to $6.5 million per episode with 10-episode first season and 16-episode seasons thereafter, 50% of production for marketing budget. We're going to put QSOS to work. We're planning 34 projects across 5 slates, which will span the next 5 to 7 years in terms of production time. We call this pipeline our annual content program. We're going to finance all 34 projects at once. We'll obtain commitments for the entire 5 slates, but capital will be deployed to us if and only if we hit certain milestones. We're in the process of curating projects now. We have not formally rolled out plans until today, but already we are garnering interest from domestic and international production companies. This gives us confidence that people see the value in our business model. The revenue model is being structured to align with our operating role. We earn money for structuring financing, developing, and producing content, and supporting distribution activities. Production fees are being calculated as a percentage of production budgets. Overhead allocations are being applied within defined limits. This structure allows the studio to earn money without the requirement of owning the intellectual property. Did you hear that, my creative friends? You can keep your IP.
Each slate is being constructed as a portfolio rather than a collection of unrelated projects. Layering is being applied intentionally. Quentasia Studios originals are anchoring each slate. Independent writers and producers are expanding the creative surface area. Established directors are contributing execution stability. Active producers are enhancing distribution access and audience awareness. Each tier is serving a defined strategic function. Risk is being distributed across the slate. Opportunity is being preserved for emerging voices. The slate structure is being designed to meet institutional expectations. QSOS is enabling the structure to operate consistently over time.
We believe that a strong theatrical release is the best way to maximize the licensing value of films to streamers. Our model lets us develop a pipeline of new and experienced creators. For new creatives, we put their content on our website for an exclusive period of time. This effectively is our way to test market the content. Armed with data, we can then approach theaters and later streamers, cable, and broadcasters about licensing our content. We absorb all the risk upfront on our end. For experienced and high-profile creatives, they won't require, in most cases, the proof of demand. We can immediately leverage theatrical broadcasting and streaming placements. However, if a high-profile creative came up with a highly experimental idea that market buyers aren't too sure about, we still have the ability to market test on our site first. QSOS gives us the ability to store the content preferences of each exhibitor so we can quickly identify who are the best to contact for a specific project. It will also store performance data for all of our projects and to be able to aggregate that data at the slate, investor, and studio level. Admittedly, this is an ambitious plan. We believe it is achievable. We want to bring new, premium stories to audiences. If you're curious, you can head on over to our website at quentasiastudios.com. You will see our early content there. This is not an example of the premium content we are now planning. Writers, producers, talent reps, if you'd like to know more, you can send an inquiry to info@quentasiastudios.com. Please don't send decks or scripts. If we request this from you, we'll ask you to sign a release form first. You should check out our content submission guidelines. Okay, that's it. That lays out our plans for the future. I'm Gregory Q. Jenkins, founder and CEO of Quentasia Studios. Let's dream big together. Thank you for watching.